Gilligan's Island was supposed to be a silly comedy, but here's the shocking truth. Almost nothing about its history is as simple as it looks. Characters were almost completely different. Actors fought for recognition, and one of television's most infamous critics secretly lives on through the name of the stranded boat. And that's just scratching the surface. Stick with me for 15 secrets about Gilligan's Island that reveal a show riddled with drama, chance, and deliberate satire. Not the innocent escapist romp many of us thought it was. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Number 1, the theme song snub. Theme songs set the tone for a show, and in Gilligan's Island, that tune introduced the castaways we'd follow every week. But during the first season, 2 names were glaringly absent. The Professor and Mary Ann weren't mentioned at all, leaving them lumped into the vague phrase, "and the rest." For the actors, this wasn't just a small omission. It signaled they were less important than the others. Bob Denver, who played Gilligan, was so bothered by this choice that he actually pushed the producers to fix it. Thanks to his stand, later versions finally included both characters. That simple lyric change turned the cast into a true team, proving how production decisions can shape the way audiences value TV roles. Number 2, Gilligan's hidden first name. Everyone knew him as Gilligan, the clumsy first mate in the red shirt and floppy hat. But here's the puzzle. Was that actually his last name? Or did he have a first name hidden somewhere? Creator Sherwood Schwartz once scribbled down Willie in his early notes, hinting that Gilligan might have had a proper first name after all. But Bob Denver, the actor who played him, swore that Gilligan was the whole name. This back and forth sparked endless fan debates in interviews, with some insisting on Willie and others leaning toward Denver's version. The truth is, the show never gave an answer. That silence turned the question itself into part of the legend, an unsolved detail that fans still enjoy puzzling over. Number 3, the fake lagoon. That beautiful lagoon where Gilligan and the others splashed around wasn't on some hidden tropical island at all. It sat on a CBS lot in California. The shoreline was surrounded not by palm trees but by studio buildings, and, just beyond them, a very busy freeway. More than once, crew members had to stop filming when car horns or traffic rumbled into the microphones. On top of that, the water wasn't exactly inviting. During the winter months, it turned icy cold, forcing the cast to brave uncomfortable chutes. Years later, the lagoon itself was drained and paved over, becoming a parking lot. Even so, for audiences watching at home, that man-made pond became one of television's most recognizable backdrops. Number 4, the skipper's secret name. We all called him the skipper, the gruff captain with a soft heart, but his real name was Jonas Grumby. That name actually appeared in scripts and production notes, yet viewers hardly ever heard it on screen. Writers found the skipper easier because it immediately painted an image. He was the leader, the authority, the one steering the group. Alan Hale Jr. leaned into that simplicity. He mixed authority with warmth, often barking orders in one scene and comforting his crew in the next. By keeping Jonas Grumby in the shadows, the character stayed larger than life. In the end, the skipper didn't need a full name to become iconic. Sometimes mystery is exactly what makes a character unforgettable. Number 5, the radio with a signal. Ever wonder how the castaways always seemed to know what was happening in the outside world? Their trusty little radio was the answer. But here's where things get bizarre. It supposedly picked up stations from Los Angeles. Instead of breaking the illusion, this odd detail became part of the comedy. Writers used the radio to introduce new plot twists, from global headlines to weather warnings, giving the stranded crew a strange link to civilization. The logic never added up, but it didn't need to. What mattered was keeping stories moving, even if the radio worked like no radio ever could. Number 6, the skipper's hidden injury. Sitcoms might look lighthearted, but the actors often absorbed real physical strain. Alan Hale Jr., known to all as the skipper, proved just how far he would go for the show's comedy. During one season, he actually broke his arm, yet chose not to tell anyone on set. Think about that. Slapstick scenes often had him wrestling Gilligan, falling out of hammocks, or tumbling across the sand. Every laugh from the audience came with risks for the cast. Hale powered through, hiding the injury, and his co-stars later admired the commitment. Number 7, Mary Ann's homemade pies. Mary Ann's coconut cream pies weren't just a goofy prop. They became one of the show's most loved running gags. The twist is that Dawn Wells, who played Mary Ann, actually made them herself on set. Instead of production whipping up fake desserts, Wells rolled up her sleeves and created the pies, which added to the character's sweet, homemade charm. That little detail gave the joke an extra layer of believability. Fans never forgot the pies, and long after the show ended, interviewers would still ask Wells about her famous desserts, as if Mary Ann had really baked them. Number 8, the show that CBS sank. Gilligan's Island didn't disappear because people stopped tuning in. In fact, its ratings stayed strong through its run, which makes its cancellation all the more surprising. What actually happened was a behind-the-scenes shuffle at CBS. The network needed a prime slot to keep its long-running Western, Gunsmoke, alive, and Gilligan's Island was the casualty. At the time, viewers felt blindsided. One week, the castaways were still stranded. The next, they were simply gone from the schedule with no real conclusion. Number 9, Mr. Howell's Improv. Some of the funniest moments on Gilligan's Island weren't even in the script. Jim Backus, who played the ever-wealthy Mr. Howell, had a knack for improvising lines on set. His quick wit fit perfectly with a character who was supposed to be absurdly out of touch with life on a deserted island. Instead of just reciting jokes that were written for him, Backus often added little asides and playful remarks that caught even his co-stars off guard. By letting humor spill out naturally, Backus proved how improvised comedy can elevate a sitcom and make it unforgettable. Number 10, Gilligan's Hat Swap. Gilligan's floppy white hat looked like it could survive anything, but the truth was far less impressive. It was made from thin cotton fabric, so every time Bob Denver sweated through it or stumbled into one of those slapstick accidents, the hat wore down quickly. Behind the scenes, replacements became routine, cycling in a steady stream of identical hats to keep up with the damage. Number 11, the wardrobe mystery. If you think about it, the castaways were only supposed to be out for a 3-hour tour. So how on earth did they end up with closets full of clothes? The professor always seemed to have a crisp, clean shirt. Mary Ann rotated through a collection of dresses, and Ginger somehow never ran out of glamorous gowns. Number 12, Lovey's real-life luxury. Mrs. Howell always seemed like the type of woman who would join a voyage simply for the perks, and that's exactly what happened in real life. Natalie Schafer admitted the main reason she signed on for Gilligan's Island was the free trip to Hawaii included in the pilot filming. At the time, Hawaii was a luxurious destination, and the promise of sun and sand sealed the deal for her. Number 13, Gilligan's name origin. Why did the show's creator land on the name Gilligan? It wasn't a random choice. Sherwood Schwartz explained that the name came from the nautical word gillies, which means helper. That connection makes sense if you think about Gilligan's place on the island. He was the skipper's aide, always ready to follow instructions, even if he rarely got them right. Number 14, the Minnow's hidden insult. The SS Minnow wasn't just a random name. It was a sly dig at Newton Minow, the FCC chairman who shook up the television industry in the early 1960s. Sherwood Schwartz, the creator of Gilligan's Island, didn't take that jab lightly. Naming the doomed boat after Minnow turned the insult into irony. Every time viewers saw the wreck, they were unknowingly in on a private joke. Beneath the slapstick, the series carried its own quiet piece of satire. Number 15, the island that never died. For a comedy about 7 people stuck on an island, Gilligan's Island never really faded away. When the original episodes wrapped, fans still wanted more, and the network found ways to keep the story alive. Animated spin-offs popped up, giving kids a cartoon version of the stranded crew, while adults tuned in years later for reunion movies that imagined what might have happened next. Gilligan's Island might have looked like a simple sitcom about stranded tourists, but the truth is it carried far more weight than that. The show balanced slapstick with unexpected layers of behind-the-scenes drama, hidden jokes, and decisions that shaped how we still remember it today. From quiet acts of loyalty among the cast to playful satire woven into the boat's name, it wasn't just tropical hijinks on a soundstage. What seemed light and disposable ended up carving out a legacy across decades. Maybe that's the lasting trick. The island story survived, even when everything about it looked temporary.